Hey there, guys, what's going on? So, the summertime heat, humidity, and inevitable allergy season are upon us now, and with it comes that dire need to take those days and get the heck out of the sunshine. Enter yours truly, of course, to step in and attempt to offer you some distracting entertainment. Not that, I want to actively encourage you all to stay in your houses, maybe just a little teeny tiny bit, but if anything, it's for good reason, given that once again, we have more excellent music news. Much like the sweat of all this soul-sucking humidity, it's also thick in the air and has coincided in yet another album review. While I won't make predictions on the best of the year at just this point in June here, I will say it's worth watching as a potential contender. In today's little installment, we're going to talk about an up-and-coming artist who hails from the state of Indiana, which may very well be a first given the nature of most of the musicians I cover here. Nevertheless, he's on the cusp of releasing what may be his biggest and most intense album to date, with one of those background stories that truly fuels what promises to be, well, a pretty fascinating discussion. Here we have Timothy Walter, aka Strand of Oaks, with his June 24th release due up entitled Heal. Never has a word been more relevant as in a case or an album like this one, and as I said before, it's a listen that inevitably fascinates. But before I give away any, further description or adjectives that righteously belong ahead, let's get right into the review. From the opening basement garage stomp thrash of Goshen 97, Showalter presents a warts-all-over, paint-peeling, and glass-cracking look into the often harsh reality of life's self-portrait. While it can often be joyful and exuberant, with fists raised with defiance into the sky, it spreads out against a backdrop of loneliness, excessive alcohol, and relationships as worn out as the guitar strings are being played upon. It's a catharsis, but one where the light often seems difficult to accept. There's a sense of breaking out of that glass cage, but the demons are directly ahead, and Heal doesn't attempt to so much reason with them as brutally slug it out. Showalter goes deeper into his arrangements this time, leaning away from the simpler edges and going deeper into backdrops clearly influenced by the 70s, 80s, as well as the 90s. It's an element similarly used to great effect on the superb War on Drugs record that came out this year, but if it's possible, it feels like Showalter plumbs even further along into those depths. At times whispering with an ache that recalls the Smashing Pumpkins he pays homage to in Goshen, and in others screaming with a release to match the crescendo, Showalter is a master of his struggles so prolifically put to tape. Heal brings you right down into the darkness and doesn't automatically entail the promise of a happy ending, just perhaps being able to find a way that works and realistically coming out of it on the other side. It's even more fitting then, perhaps, that Showalter would have a bristling, tension-laden, window-rattling epic called JM on this record, which is in tribute to the fallen Magnolia Electric Company Songs Ohio frontman Jason Molina. He was another soul similarly dredging the far edges of the twilight, who sadly didn't get to come out of it, but in Showalter's case it seems to provide the spark. He laments the same mistakes, but opines that, "I won't let these dark times win, we've got your sweet tunes to play." And whether it be in that one line or throughout this entire record, Heal bears through the hardships to express what I feel is one of the greatest truths in all of life, the indescribable power of music. Whether to play to it or occasionally stray off the beaten path, as with the song Plymouth, which includes a line that sticks out clear as day to me. I stopped listening to music, I kept writing the same song, comfort doesn't mean you're better off. It seems to yield to the chances taken on Heal, and I for one think it's much better for having done so. My favorites from this one include the aforementioned JM, Goshen 97, and Plymouth, but wouldn't be complete without the defiance of loneliness that is Shut In, which is such a brilliant, beautifully uplifting track, and the almost holy sounding confessional groove of the title song. In all outright honesty, I think Strand of Oaks and Heal are going to surprise people in a very, very fantastic way in 2014. The record has such a story to it, a weight, and an outright honest canvas of emotion that not only give these tracks power, but such a beautiful ability to relate through their pain, scrutiny, triumph, and ultimate screaming catharsis. It certainly hit home with me, and for that I give Heal a 9 out of 10. But that's it, and that's all for me here, you guys, with my review for Strand of Oaks and their upcoming June 24th release, Heal. I hope you enjoyed some of my thoughts here, but it definitely doesn't even begin to sum up the sheer length and breadth of the tracks on this album, so get right out there, go over to NPR First Listen to get a listen to these songs, go buy them, all of the above. It's a great record, go check it out, whether it be now or on June 24th, you will not be disappointed, but keep it here. Speaking of not being disappointed, for more great videos and more content still to come, stay tuned.